Hello viewers, welcome once more to another video on my YouTube channel. Like we continue with the previous lesson, we discussed about equalities, and in this tutorial we are going to talk about linear equations. What are they virtually? Linear equations, they are equations in which all the powers of the variable is 1. For instance, it is generally represented as this. We might have something like this. The variables here, we have x and y. We call them variables. They are also known as unknowns. You don't yet know their values. A, B, and C are numbers. X and y are unknowns. So this is a linear equation. Why? Because the power of x is 1, the highest power of y is 1. So any equation in which all the powers of the unknowns is 1, the highest power is 1, is called a linear equation. Linear equation. So how do we now solve linear equation? Basically, we are going to see two types: solving linear equations in one variable and solving linear equation in two variables. And in our target is ordinary levels at this level. Ordinary level. The target of this lecture is ordinary level maths. That's why I have wrote math 570 is ordinary level math. So the first thing we are going to look at linear equation in one variable. Yeah, in one variable. Linear equations in one variable, they are generally represented as ax plus b equals to c. Yeah, this is how it is generally represented, right? Well, we're going to see how we can solve this type of linear equation in one variable using the rules of equality that we just saw in the previous tutorial. If you have not gone through the tutorial, you can go through it again so that you get the full gist of what we are going to be doing here. Now, how do we solve this type of equation, right? Any equation with one variable, right, is also a linear equation, so long as the power of the unknown is 1. For instance, 2x minus 1 equals 3. This is a linear equation in one variable, because the power of the unknown x is 1. What is not yet known is x. The power is 1, so it's a linear equation, and you have one unknown. That's why we say it is in one variable. Okay. Now, how do we solve this? Let's begin with this equation. How to solve this linear equation? The first thing is this: you identify all the this thing. I'll give you the rules before we solve. Let me give you the rules in solving linear. I'll give it verbally. The first rule, you can write it down as you go along with me. You clear fractions when necessary. Clear fractions when necessary using the lowest common multiple or a common divisor of all fractions. We are going to see that. Number 2, we are going to move terms, or let's say collect all the terms. Collect all the terms containing the variable on the left hand side. LHS means left hand side, and other terms on the right hand side. RHS means right hand side. So that's the next rule, right? When you are solving a linear equation, whether it's in one variable or two variable, you are going to see that in two variable simultaneous equation. Don't hurry with that. Now we collect all the terms containing the variable on one side of the equation. Before even this, right, there is another one. You have to simplify brackets. Simplify both sides of the equation first. Both sides of the equation. So if you have an expansion, you expand. You collect like terms, you group them together and simplify. Right? Basically, you move terms on both sides of the equation using the addition and subtraction rule of equality that we just saw in the previous tutorial. Now, then the last step is just to check your answer. Use the division. Just basically, we are going to be using the rules of equality to solve linear equation in one variable and two variables, as we are going to see shortly. Now, in one variable, for instance, we had 2x minus 1 equals to 3. How do we solve this linear equation? The first thing is to collect all the terms containing the variable on one side of the equation. Now, observe which term here contains the variable. The variable is the unknown. It's just 2x. This is the variable term here. So I'll keep it on the left hand side. It means that I'll have to move all the other terms on the right hand side. How do I move this negative one to this side? I use what? Since it is negative, I use addition rule of equality, like we said in the previous tutorial. So I'm going to do what? Add 1 on both sides of the equation. You copy the equation the way you have, you add 1 plus 1. I've added 1 on both sides of the equation. Like I said, you owe one thing and you add one thing, you have 0 left, right? You have nothing left. So negative 1 plus 1 is virtually nothing. Equals to what? So you have 2x left. Equals to 4. Now, the next step is how to isolate x, because we are solving this equation for x. How do we isolate x now? We use what? The division rule of equality. Since 2 is multiplied to x, 2x means it's 2 times x. So since 2 is multiplied to x, means I just want x to stand alone. I don't want 2 to be attached to it. So I'm going to use what? Division rule of equality. Like I said, when you see division multiplication, you do division. So I'm going to use divide both sides by 2 according to the division rule of equality. That when we divide both sides of the equality by the same quantity, which is 2 means it leaves the expression, still leaves it equal. So 2 will cancel 2, leaving out x equals to 4 divided by 2 is just 2. So that is the value of x that satisfies this equation. Like I said, an equality means both sides, left hand side is equal to the right hand side. We are going to check now whether this answer satisfies this equation, whether it satisfies that equation. So I'm going to take now 2 into what? So x, this is the left hand side. 2 into 2, then minus 1. 2, this is 2 times x, so it's 2 times 2. Copy the value of x and put here. Now, this one will give 2 times 2 gives 4, then minus 1 is 3. You see that it is equal to the right hand side. So this is the correct value of x that satisfies this equation. So that is how you solve linear equation in one variable. I'll give you another one. Let's say you had something like this. Let's say we have something like x plus 1 divided by 7 equals to x equals to, let's say, 7x. Now let me say x plus 7 divided by, let's say, 4. You have this equation and you have been asked to solve. Like I said, the first thing when you see division, you apply multiplication to clear off the fractions. Now, when you have more than one fraction involved, right, you are going to use the lowest common multiple to do the multiplication. Since you are seeing division here, you are seeing division here, it means I want to clear these two fractions in one step rather than going through a longer method. So I'm going to do this. Since I have 7 and 4 here, right? To know what I will multiply both sides of the equation by to clear the two fractions at once, I'll simply take 7 times 4. 7 times 4, I keep it like that. I don't write anything apart from that. So I'm going to have 7 times 4, right? I'll write it as 7 times 4. Since I'm multiplying it on both sides of the equation, right? Like I said, in algebra, bracket means multiplication equals to 7 by 4. 7 times 4. When you see a dot, it also means multiplication. X plus 7 on 4. Now observe here, 7 will cancel with 7, leaving out 4. So I have 4 bracket. You are left with what? X plus 1 divided by 1. So it's just x plus 1 equals to what? 4 will cancel 4, leaving out what? 7, right? So I have 7 bracket x plus 7. The next thing now is to do what? To expand the brackets. Now, this 4 times this, it means I'll take 4 times x. Like I just said, write it as 4x. Rather than write 4 times x. Since it is a number times a variable, you can just write it as 4x. This one means multiplication in algebra. Whenever a number is attached to an unknown, it means they are being multiplied. So 4x means 4 times x. Now 4, you keep the sign plus 4 times 1 gives what? Just 4 equals to that expanding the brackets now. 7 times x, so it's just the opposite of what? Factorizing. 7 times x is 7x. Then you have plus, copy the sign. 7 times 7 is what? 49. Now from here, the next thing is to what? Move all the terms containing the variable on one side, on the left hand side of the equation. So since 7x is this way, I'll have to transfer it this way, right? So it means that I'm going to do what? I'm going to subtract 7x on both sides. Remember, it is positive because it is not written with a sign. So anything without a sign is considered positive in mathematics. So from here, it means that I'm going to subtract 7x on both sides to bring this one to the left hand side. So I'm going to have 4x plus 4 minus what? 7x. I'm subtracting on both sides. Copy the sign, copy everything as you see, minus 7x. Now, 4x minus 7x, what is the answer? Follow the rule I gave you. You see that 4x minus 7x, they are like terms, right? 4 minus 7 gives what? Then, anyway, let's go gradually. So you have 4x minus 7x plus 4. I've just brought the two terms, the like terms together. Then copy this equals 7x minus 7x, we say is 0, right? Then equals to 49. You are left with 49 there. Now the key is, how do you evaluate this? I know many people don't actually know that, but I will show you guys. Since x is a common factor, right? Say x is a common factor. We are going to keep x outside. So if we factor out x, you are left with what? If you move x here, it means that you are left with 4 now. Minus 7 equals plus 4 equals 49. So this is what it means. X is common, so you can remove the x, you can factor out the x. How do you factorize? That's the equation. Do you know how I get this? If you don't know, you just follow what I'm doing now. Like we said, if I have a fraction, right? So I have 4x minus 7x. That is what I have. How do I know if what I'm doing is correct? I can simply do what? Divide both sides. You know that x divided by x is 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. I can now try to see. Once I've identified my common factor is x, right? I will do this. I'll divide both. I want to remove the x from the bracket. I'll do x divided by x multiply to what I want to factorize. Now I'll send this fraction inside, so I'm left with x outside. Then what I have inside is 4x divided by x. Are you seeing? Minus 7x divided by x. That's why I have x cancel x, right? So I have x into 4 minus x cancel x. X divided by x is 1. So 1 times 7, 7. That's why I have this. So that is how you do your factorization. Once you identify the common factor, you do that. Now, x into what? 4 minus 7 gives what? Negative 3. Do you know why? 4. You have 4 things and you're owing 7 things. When you give out that 4, you still be owing that person 7 items, right? To complete your debt. That's why I have negative 3 plus 4 equals to 49. So x times negative 3 is what? Negative 3x. It means multiplication. Negative 3 times x in algebra plus 4 equals to 49. The next step now is to do what? To remove this 4 here, so that we are solving for x, so we need to keep it to stand alone, right? So by so doing, we are going to send this one to the other side of the equation. Like we said, remove all the terms containing the variable on one side and all the terms containing all the other terms on the right side. So I'm going to move forward this way. Since here is positive 4, I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides of the equation. So I have negative 3x plus 4. I copy what I have. I subtract 4 from both sides. 49 minus 4. So 4 minus 4 gives 0. So I'm left with negative 3x equals what? 49 minus 4 gives 45. So from here now, the key is to solve for x. That was the unknown. Key is to solve for x. So I'm going to have x to be equal to what? If I want to solve for x now, since here I have negative 3 times x, I have to clear this value away from x. So since it's multiplied to x, I'll divide both sides by negative 3 equals to what? 45 by negative 3. Now, negative 3 divided by negative 3 gives me 1. So they'll just cancel out each other, giving out x equals 45 divided by negative 3 gives negative 15. Virtually, that is what we get. So that is how we solve linear equations. When you see fractions, you use the product of all the fractions involved as the common divisor, and you multiply it throughout the equality. So in the next video, I'm going to show you guys how you can use this same concept of equality to solve now linear equation in two variables. So thanks for watching. Please, if you are new to my channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, so that whenever I drop new content, you will not be left out and you'll be the first to be notified. Now see you guys in my next tutorial on simultaneous equations. Thanks for watching and bye.